Okay, I need to straighten something out for the record. A lot of you people have commented on my video on Bush visits Stanford. First, with a lot of hate, and second, with a lot of ignorance. Um, the scope of that whole video was I was laughing at a chant that was old and used up. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your fucking war. And a lot of you got pissed off because in general you said I was anti-protest, and I'm too stupid to realize that people have a right to speak their mind. So you got this all wrong. I am not anti-protester, and I know people have a right to speak their mind, and god damn it, that's one of the things that in this country we have, because people go to war to fight for our rights to have those things. There are some countries where you can't say anything against the government without ending up dead in an alley somewhere. So I understand what you're saying. But let's take it beyond that chant being old and stupid and look at the dynamic of a protest. The idea of you going to a protest, if you truly are there because you have a strong commitment, and let's say for this one it was the anti-war movement, if you have a strong anti-war commitment, then you're going to say things about the war and how much you hate it and all. But the dynamic of a protest is that you want your word to be heard. And if you say fuck on any of your chants, you've just blown it with the media. They are not going to put you on TV yelling 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't want your fucking war. Do you get that? I mean, come on. YouTube is about the only place you're going to see something like that because you can get away with it there. But when you go to a protest and you want your word to be heard because you hope it will have some sort of a change effect, you're not going to get heard if you say fuck. You're not going to get heard if you're carrying a protest banner that says fuck this or fuck that. You just can't do that. So the dynamic of the protest will determine whether or not your protest is successful. But the scope of the protest is a whole different thing. When I grew up, in the 60s and 70s, and no, it wasn't any cooler then than it is now. And that was not my point. That is you arguing your point. You're being argumentative with me. You totally went right over the 1, 2, 3, 4 chant, and you went right into believing that because I didn't say things the way you say them, that I don't care, and that I don't know, and that I don't think, and that I'm stupid, blah, blah. But you're wrong. When I was a kid and we had protests, they were anti-war protests. That's what I was there for. But I was a young kid and I was impressionable. And I believe a lot of you are too. Your mind will be changed from day to day, from week to week, based on whatever's cool, based on what everyone else is doing, based on whatever you're told to do. And that's because people know they can mold your impressionable mind. Now, when we had a protest, it was a small town of 80,000 people, and one in particular was at a high school, and it had to do with Reserved Officer Training Corps being taught at the school, and everyone had to take 2 years of ROTC. We thought that led to us becoming little soldiers, and we didn't like that idea. But our entire high school population with 2 campuses barely made 750, and there were thousands of people at this protest. There were 20 buses that came from Chicago. And in those buses were Black Panther Party, who wanted to push their agenda. And there was socialists and communists who wanted to push their agenda. And there were people that wanted to bitch about social programs, and people who wanted to bitch about civil rights programs, housing, and whatever else. And they showed up. And then from Milwaukee, I lived right in the middle between Milwaukee and Chicago, came people with the same ideas, and then the American Indian movement, and all of these things all muddled together to make that anti-war protest, or that anti-ROTC protest, turn into a damn near anti-everything. And it became a riot. Cars overturned, started on fires, people hurt, people arrested, fights between the police and kids that were high school kids. And all because these outside agitators came. Now, when you watch that video Bush visits Stanford, I will guarantee you that of the crowd you saw, first of all, they report huge numbers. They'll say thousands were there when there were only 100. If they can fit the video cameras to where it looks like they have a huge crowd, they will do that, so it makes more news. It makes them look like they've been to something worth being at, rather than saying, only 100 people showed up. So they'll say thousands were there. But of the people that were there protesting, you can bet your ass that they were not all anti-war protesters. There were people there for political reasons, people there for social reasons, people there because they're Democrats and Bush is a Republican, and there were people there for hateful reasons. I will guarantee you that this was not just students from Stanford who took time out of their classes to go. This was people from outside influences, which every protest has. This is the dynamic of a protest. I'm not anti-protest. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid to think that I was cooler in the 60s than you are now. All I was saying is 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't want your fucking war is a stupid chant because it'll never get on the media, and you're not getting your point across if you don't get on the media. Does that make sense to you? Now, I'm anxious to see what the responses will be, because now you'll be bitching about the Chicago Bears posters behind me, and it's been about my hair and my beard, my clothing, everything else. My eyes make me look like I'm stoned. I'm old. I don't give a shit about all those things. If you can't stay on focus with what the video is about, click to the next fucking video and keep your comments to yourself. Thank you. There's my protest. And that's all I've got to say about that.